Most of India was ruled by the Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire was ruled by Muslims, and Muslims who were people who practiced Islam. There were more Hindu people than Muslims, and the Islamic Empire was characterized by Hindu culture.
Islam was discovered 1400 years ago in Mecca, Arabia. People who follow Islam believe in one God, and God sent prophets to teach how to live life the way that He would want them to. There are two holy books. One is the Quran and one is the Sunnah.
Hinduism originated by the river Indus, which flows through Pakistan. People who wanted to change things for the better, also known as reformers, wanted Hinduism to be directly connected to the ancient Indian traditions. Hinduism is a mix of many traditions and beliefs from other religions. In the Mughal Empire, monarchs were interested in local traditions, religions, and cultures. They governed the people by using the Mansabdari system. The Mansabdari system made people pay reasonable taxes. It also made sure that all profits and all income would return to the emperor.
In the caste system, gods were to be known as above everything else. And then came the Brahmins, which were priests and academics. Then the Kshatriya, which were warriors and kings. And then Vaishya, which were merchants and landowners. And then Sudra, which were commoners, peasants, and servants. The last tier in the caste system were untouchables. They were to be considered less than nothing, and their occupations included street sweepers and toilet cleaners.
Education, Gurukula. If anyone wanted to learn, they would go to Guru's house and ask. If Guru accepted the student would learn anything he or she wanted. They would help Guru with house activities.
In tradition, the men wait to get married and start their own family until their fathers die. Arranged marriages, especially for girls, are very common, and men are always the leader of the household.
In India, there was a lot of women inequality. There were things such as purdah, which is when women are forced to cover their faces and body in public. And then it was the dowry system, which basically means when the man pays the girl's family to be his wife. And then there was sati, which would mean that when you kill a female child, that the female child is an offering to God.
They wanted the Indians' culture, but on the inside of the British wanted them to have British knowledge and education. They disapproved sati, so they had to ban all of the child sacrifices and offerings. They introduced Christianity and felt very responsible for this and needed to westernize the country. The Western education means that they needed to learn English.
Raj was the time period when the British government took control of India from the East India Company. But it wasn't until 1858 when the British had full control. This time was also considered the first war of Indian independence.
The British wanted India's raw materials. They wanted India to manufacture, sell, and export their goods. India forced to give their materials to Britain if it was in high demand. They introduced railways and for cheaper and faster transportation to export and transport goods.
Some of the negative effects included railways, which means people had to change their entire life if they were in the way of the railway path. And the English language was also a negative effect, because it made it easier for the next generations to forget their language, culture, and traditions.
Some positive effects was that when everyone spoke English, everyone felt like a united nation. Also, with high education, there was more possibilities of opening up new businesses and a higher employment rate.